Pain reshapes everything it touches. It bends your rhythm, cracks your certainty. But in those cracks,
light begins to enter, no greatness
was ever born without suffering. Every breakthrough hides behind
unrelenting struggle. Pain is not punishment, it is
preparation. It dismantles comfort. So growth can rebuild. You cannot rise without first being broken open. In the quiet ache, strength is secretly forming. The wound becomes the birthplace of transformation. The world will tell you to avoid hurt, but pain is the first teacher of resilience. It introduces you to your truest self. It teaches patience, humility, and fierce endurance. Pain burns away everything unnecessary inside you, and what remains is sharper, wiser,
stronger. So stop resenting the struggle that refines you. Let every wound reveal the power it carries. Because pain,
when faced, turns into sacred fuel. And that fuel is the hidden path to greatness. Understanding the nature of pain
is not random, it has direction. It arrives to reveal what must
change. It exposes illusions we cling to tightly. When comfort ends, clarity begins its work. Pain speaks a language beyond easy understanding. It whispers where we must evolve or let go. It tests our attachment to old patterns and pride. And when faced, it purifies our intentions. You begin to see pain as a messenger,
not a curse. It sharpens your vision
for what truly matters. Growth without pain is shallow and temporary, but growth through pain becomes permanent strength, understanding. This truth changes how you heal, because now you see purpose inside the suffering, and purpose gives pain its divine meaning. The choice to transform or collapse pain offers two paths: collapse or transformation. Most people run, numb, or hide from discomfort. But running only stretches suffering across more time. When you stop resisting, pain loses its control. Transformation begins the moment you surrender fully. You can collapse into despair or rise into awareness. Pain does not decide that you do. Your choice defines the story that follows. Collapse leads to bitterness and quiet. Regret-taught transformation leads to wisdom and inner mastery. The difference lies in how you respond daily. Face pain with courage instead of avoidance. Let it teach rather than destroy your hope. Every great soul made this same choice
once, and that's where their story of greatness
began. Turning emotional wounds into strength. Emotional pain cuts deeper than physical scars. It attacks identity, belief, and inner worth. But every deep cut carries hidden instruction. Heartbreak shows you how deeply you can feel. Loss teaches you what truly deserves your energy. Failure exposes the ego that feared imperfection. Pain rearranges your soul's
furniture completely. It makes room for deeper
compassion and resilience. Each wound teaches emotional intelligence through experience. You learn to hold grief and gratitude together. Strength grows when you stop hiding from
vulnerability. Your tears become teachers,
not weaknesses. They cleanse pride and water seeds of understanding. Pain builds emotional muscle memory for endurance, and endurance becomes the foundation of true character. Alchemy of acceptance. Acceptance is the turning point of transformation. When you accept pain, it begins to dissolve resistance. You stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. Acceptance does not mean surrender to defeat. It means surrender to truth without illusion. When you accept, pain becomes lighter to carry. You allow lessons to rise instead of resentment. Acceptance frees your mental energy for healing. It breaks the loop of overthinking and regret. Peace appears when you stop demanding the past change. Acceptance teaches emotional maturity and grounded wisdom. It lets you breathe again inside your story. In that breath, the healing begins quietly. Acceptance is not weakness. It's evolution in disguise. It's how pain becomes wisdom instead of weight. Building resilience. Through repetition, resilience isn't born. It's built through repetition. Each time pain visits, you learn to adapt faster, you recover quicker.
Stronger, more aware, pain
Becomes a training ground for endurance. Every setback adds invisible strength to your core. Resilience means staying calm when the world shakes. It means trusting your capacity to rebuild. You stop expecting ease and start mastering persistence. Each fall becomes rehearsal for your future rise. Pain rehearses you for bigger responsibilities. Later, resilience grows through consistent discomfort accepted wisely. You become fluent in recovery, not avoidance. Resilience makes peace with pain's presence in growth because pain is no longer an enemy, it's exercise, and your soul grows stronger with every rep. Reframing failure. As refinement, failure is pain's closest companion and greatest gift. It forces reflection, humility, and reinvention. Each failure strips away arrogance and illusion. It refines strategy, vision, and emotional endurance. Reframing failure transforms shame into sacred data. You stop labeling moments as losses or wins. Instead, they become lessons in disguise. Failure teaches what success never could. It builds creative flexibility and strategic patience. Pain sharpens your focus where ease made you lazy. Failure burns away half-hearted intentions and excuses. Every mistake is a forge for greater precision. Reframing. Pain as refinement keeps your spirit unbroken. You learn to harvest wisdom from disappointment, and that harvest nourishes your journey forward. Finding meaning. Inside the struggle, meaning turns pain into transformation fuel. Without meaning, suffering feels endless and cruel. But purpose reshapes perception into sacred endurance. You begin to ask, what is this teaching me?
Not why is this happening to me?
That single shift rewrites your emotional narrative. Pain without meaning crushes. Pain with meaning builds. Meaning makes endurance possible and purposeful. It keeps you grounded in growth during chaos. Meaning helps connect suffering to destiny's architecture. Every hardship becomes a stone in your foundation. Each tear becomes part of a
masterpiece's story. Purpose
transforms wounds into wisdom worth sharing, and that wisdom becomes your contribution to others. Find meaning, and pain becomes an ally, not a monster. Using pain to empathize with others. When you've suffered, you understand others deeply. Pain
opens empathy like nothing else can. It breaks
judgment and replaces it with compassion. Your heart softens toward the silent battles of others. Suffering connects humanity across
invisible lines. It reminds you we are all fragile and strong. Your
pain becomes bridge, not barrier, between souls. You stop seeing others as competitors in struggle. You begin to help, listen, and lift quietly. Your empathy becomes a form of leadership itself. Leaders shaped by pain lead with humility. They understand that kindness is not weakness. Your healing becomes medicine for those still hurting. You start inspiring instead of comparing or complaining. Pain shared becomes the glue that binds humanity. Turning pain into art and purpose. Artists, writers, builders all channel pain creatively. Creation becomes the outlet for emotional weight. Pain is fuel for art, invention, and progress. When words fail, expression begins its sacred work. Creation transforms sorrow into something meaningful. It gives your suffering a voice and direction. Through art, pain gains purpose beyond yourself. You turn wounds into stories that heal others. Pain becomes material for hope and inspiration. What once broke you now builds your legacy. Expression gives structure to the chaos inside. It reclaims control over what once controlled
you. Every creative act becomes proof of survival, and creation keeps
pain from decaying into bitterness. So keep creating. Your art is your alchemy. Tin, this quiet power of healing. And rebirth healing is not a return to who you
were. It's a rebirth into someone wiser and freer. Pain breaks you down so truth can rebuild
you. Healing happens slowly. Through patience and faith, you start trusting timing more than control. The scar becomes a symbol, not a shame. It reminds you how far you've come in silence. Healing gives depth to your character and courage. Every healed wound carries silent authority and grace. You begin leading with softness, not armor. Your power becomes rooted in understanding pain deeply. Healing gives clarity about what truly matters. It reveals peace is possible even in imperfection. The phoenix rises not by avoiding fire, but by burning. Rebirth is the quiet celebration after the storm ends. Pain will always visit, that is certain, but how you greet it defines your destiny. You can curse it, or you can use it, you can break under it, or build from it. Every scar carries a silent instruction inside it. Listen to what it tried to teach. You let your wounds become your wisdom's signature. Do not rush your healing or numb your lessons. Turn your pain into the foundation of purpose. Transform it into fuel that powers your discipline. Because pain, once embraced, becomes unbreakable strength. It purifies your priorities and deepens your
empathy. Let the past pain build future.
Greatness quietly. Let it make you fierce and endlessly kind. Pain is not the enemy. Forget that lie. It is your forge, your awakening, your first mentor. Carry it with reverence, not resentment. You are stronger because you have suffered deeply. You are wiser because you have survived it. Now, rise, turn pain into power, and walk as greatness.